Welcome to Qatar KickAround, the nightly wrap-up and discussion of the day's action in the 2022 World Cup. From the group stage to the final, our team is here, keeping you on top of the world's most watched sporting event. Brought to you by Westwood One Sports.
Howdy-ho, and welcome to Matchday 14 of Qatar KickAround, our daily wrap-up / recap show of the day's action at the 2022 World Cup. Hi, it's me, Pete. That there I'm tagging along with is Mr. World Cup Super Champion, Andy Swift.
Peter, how are you?
Excellent. And live from London, England, you know him, you love him, it's Lars. Greeting, Lars.
See how I managed to not derail the intro this time?
You did fine.
I mean,
you always do fine. It's a podcast.
You know.
Derail all you want, sir.
Getting slightly disciplined. I've noticed I had a tendency to completely derail your intros.
Are you going back and doing
difficult
breakdowns of the podcast video? And
No, I just, I try to be
yourself?
aware of my flaws. I do a little evaluation. How did I perform today? Did I needlessly derail Peter's intro for no good reason?
And you brought yourself up a few times.
By talking about this, I have kind of actually derailed the intro a little bit. So I
you know what?
Goes down as another L.
We need a good listener to grade each episode like they do football games, 1 to 10, right? And
Instead of just getting emails like we do, like, good episode, guys, or texts.
Yeah, but no, like we just need an official, like today.
Yeah. Today was a C, for example.
Peter failed to do this. No, like football games, 1 to 10.
Oh.
Peter completely let everything go haywire and mispronounced or pushed the wrong button. He gets a 3. Lars or Andy's trivia question, top notch, finished the show well, solid 9.
Nice. I like we refer to Lars like it's Lars, like Pele, like one name, like Lars.
Yes, let's go with it.
And also,
who are you,
presenting Lars?
It would be a strange thing for a Nordic person. I feel like Erling Haaland is the first one who could maybe get away with that.
Holland? Or
maybe just go Erling.
Erling?
Yeah. As a single name.
Erling sounds too nerdy for the kind of player he is. I think Holland is just
He's
much
already
better.
known as
You say that, but then Fred doesn't look like a Fred, does he?
Fred's a terrible one-name player.
Neither looks or plays like a Fred.
Hulk, too, was a terrible one-name player.
But
awesome.
He looked like the Hulk.
No, the name was fine. It wasn't fitting. Like, you have to be a certain level player to have the one-name designation. And Hulk, to me, didn't get to that level.
Well, I think they should be. I think the Hulk was a good example because he both looked like the Hulk and kicked the ball really hard.
But he wasn't a
and was slightly
great player.
He was slightly uncontrollable.
Only
which again,
great players or great presenters and podcasters get to have the one-name designation.
You know what?
Like Lars,
I
Pele.
I think I could use an Andy Swift education on how the Brazilians decide and choose to do the one-name designation
It starts very young when you're kicking the ball on the street. It literally starts.
So, okay, they're not great players. So how? But you're telling me they get them as a kid.
It works out that way.
So everybody gets a one name, but eventually you shed it.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You lose
Dear listener, can you tell that today wasn't like the most exciting day of?
I do have a
World
trivia
Cup
question
football?
at least. That we can
Yes.
Are you
It's
getting
time.
that vibe?
It's time for Professor Andy's World Cup trivia, brought to you by Soccer 90, which was a bonus add-on.
All right.
To their sponsorship.
So, this is the World Cup with the most teams from Asia, as you know, Peter and Lars, advancing to the round of 16 with 3.
G'day, mate.
Yes, it's also the most Asian teams competing in a World Cup, 6, but that's okay. 3 advanced into the round of 16. Australia, Peter, you're a good day, mate.
Yep.
Were eliminated yesterday with their loss to Argentina. Tomorrow, we have the other 2, Japan facing off against Croatia, and, of course, South Korea facing Brazil. So this is a 3-parter, a 3-part trivia question, but easy.
These are so
It's
complicated.
easy. This is easy. Name the first Asian team to reach the quarterfinals in what year, the last one to have reached the quarterfinals, and what World Cup was that, and the one that went the farthest in a World Cup. So you get to have partial points in this one. It's not everything or bust. You might get 2 of the 3. You might get all 3. You might only get 1.
Is it possible it's the same team?
The first one to reach the quarterfinals, the last one, and who went the farthest. Answer?
Okay. All right. Answer will come at the end of today's episode. And yes, as Lars noted, now that we're down to 2 games a day, maybe we'll actually get this thing in under an hour on a regular basis now, or maybe even less. Who knows? It's a podcast. We're not beholden to any particular thing other than doing segments so they can cram erection commercials in there and between there. All right, so here we go, Lars. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you because we're going to start with England-Senegal.
Yeah.
First off, I just want to point out to the two of you, I was right. Y'all were wrong. And 2, this game got really snoozy, and I fell asleep at about the 65th minute and woke up at about the 88th minute.
Your prediction was 3-1 or something like that, right? 3-0?
I think I said 2-0, but I said I think this is one of those things where England walks away with it, and y'all thought I was nuts.
Yeah, and because Lars and I both said added extra time.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to point that out.
Yeah, hey. Fair.
In your face, Lars.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, don't just get on Lars. I predicted that too.
In your face, Andy.
There you go.
Listen, I'm pretty insufferable when I'm right about stuff, so it's fair enough.
Okay.
You should go the other way. Fine, it's fine. I'll take my medicine.
Well, but had Senegal put? I know the football is filled with what ifs, right? But had Senegal converted one of those chances that they had in the first 30 minutes, everything changes. The whole complexion of this game
Don't
changes.
you feel like you could say that about a lot of these round of 16?
That's why I prefaced it that way.
You really say that about almost all games of football, but I guess since they were pretty big chances.
Yeah.
This game didn't pan out the way I expected, really, because I thought it was going to be more England attacking Senegal and not getting through, but and England doing it in the end. But actually, like you mentioned, Senegal had some real chances early on. They kind of went at them. But then, of course, when England do score the first goal, beautifully worked attack. After that, it's kind of, once they're up, there was no way this was going to end any other way.
All right, so am I wrong in saying that this game had similar vibes to Netherlands-USA? One team is kind of dominant, playing very well, having its opportunities, but failing to convert.
The underdog.
The underdog, and then the expected better team comes, scores a goal, and then to make things worse, scores the brutal late in the first half goal. That is
a lot of similarities, quality and class, ultimately.
Why are goals scored against you at the end of the first half? Almost they feel like they're worth 2 goals.
Because you're thinking about at halftime we're going to go, especially if you're down only 1 goal. You think, okay, or you've been getting shelled and you're keeping it to 0 goals. You're thinking we're going to get to halftime, make adjustments. We're just going to get a rest. We're going to just straighten the ship out, and then it doesn't happen.
Now you're down 2.
Now, it's worth pointing out, the Netherlands did it to the U.S. It happened in the other game today, too, that we'll get to, the French game. France did it to Poland, and then England did it to Senegal. All 3 of those teams, look, class and hierarchy and soccer royalty, which Lars, sorry, but I mean, it's sometimes the teams that know what's going on at this level know what's going on.
No, I don't. You don't have to apologize to me for that. I think the class and quality is the point that what I pushed back with a little bit on our WhatsApp group was I don't think history necessarily helps. I think the players you have right now helps, but obviously there is a strong link between those 2 things.
Yeah, yeah. No, so my point about, and you're completely right. It's like you flip a coin, 10 straight heads doesn't mean the next flip is going to be heads, but the history does teach your crest, your national team, your organization to better prepare, to develop player. The history shows it stands for player development too, to get the 11 today that are playing the game today, even though those 11 didn't participate in the past. That's all. That's what I mean by that.
But back to England, back to the brave Lions, who were good. Purring. I have to say, they look good, and I think again, Southgate gets a lot of criticism, and I'm sure Twitter was lit, as they say, when the lineups came out, because the percentage of people in this country who prefers who prefer both Rice and Henderson to start alongside Bellingham. That is a small percentage.
Yeah.
I think most people want that extra midfield slot to just be taken out of the team and be given to one of all these exciting attacking guys we have. But the thing about it, as we saw, having both Rice and Henderson in there, it frees up Jude Bellingham to do the Jude Bellingham things. I really haven't. I think one of the reasons that we're seeing Jude Bellingham really do it now for England, like he's been doing it for Dortmund, whereas he has taken a little while to settle into the team and has played some subpar games from England, is that frequently, it's not always been the case, but frequently he's been paired in a 2 in midfield, which means he has to curtail his natural game a little bit and hold back much more than he wants to. When you have both Rice and Henderson in there, it frees him up to play in a much more attacking sort of box-to-box role, and that's when you see the best of Jude Bellingham, and he was really fantastic today.
He is an amazingly fun player to watch, and that sequence, I think it's the second goal where he springs, the ball comes out deep and he springs forward, and he just plays a really entertaining ball out to the left, and it's the best way to explain it. He's just, and then the sequence for the opening goal was Henderson's goal first. Yeah. So the sequence for the opening goal where he gets down to the end line and crosses it and feeds Henderson. England look really, really, really good.
So, Peter, you had Bellingham as the player to watch for England, or you didn't have a player to watch. You just said, look out for this kid. I think you, Lars, had him as the player to watch for England.
I think,
right?
because, again, I was trying to do players to watch, which for some of these squads is almost impossible because everyone knows everything.
You've been accurate with most teams.
But the point I wanted to make is that if England are really going to do it in this tournament, one of the things that has to happen is that Jude Bellingham needs to have a monster tournament, because I'm not wild about the midfield aside from him. I think Declan Rice is an absolutely excellent, fine player, but he has certain limitations. You need the guy next to him to be good at quite a few things for it to work. And that performance today from Jude Bellingham was terrific. There's so much to like about him, but one of the things, it's baffling that he's still just 19 when you watch him play, because he has a presence on a field, and that I remember that being the thing that shocked people at Dortmund when he went over, because he was super young when he went over. And his maturity levels already on the football field. Like, he's never really played like a talented youngster. He's always gone in and played as someone who's got a lot of miles on the clock already. He looks like he's 28 and has been doing this for 10 years. But in terms of his confidence, in terms of the decisions he makes, in terms of how calm he is, watching him for Dortmund, he's bossing people around at Dortmund when he was like 18. So he has this incredible presence and confidence and maturity on the field that's just baffling to see in a teenager.
I really enjoy the fact that he appears to be the guy that England needs to kind of unlock the best of all of the attacking pieces that they have at their disposal. Everybody looks better. Harry Kane looks better. Marcus, all of them look better, because Bellingham is kind of that box, that 8 that's just helping them do their thing.
In a way, isn't that a player that England really has, at least in our generation, ever had, like a creative player in the middle there that does those things?
I'm sure some people thought Mount was that player. I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but no, he
not
is
at the national team level.
He is very good, and he is a next level guy, and he may be the difference. I mean, look, Lars, England look like a legitimate contender, and I know they got France coming up, and we'll talk about the French game here in a little bit, but there is so much depth on this team.
Yep. Both England, France. It's going to be a for all those reasons. Were you surprised Foden started over Rashford?
A little bit, yeah, but maybe he's saving Rashford for the France game, I guess.
I think also a thing to remember is that it's not always just about who starts the game, it's about who's going to finish the game. And I think with
added extra time looming, maybe.
The idea that Rashford's strength is when there's space to work with, when there's space to run into. So he has speed, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're gonna pick a guy to maybe come on after an hour instead of starting, that's a good place for your speedy guy to be, right?
It is.
Put it this way: if Raheem Sterling had been available to play, I don't think Saka would have necessarily started, and with Saka on the bench, then that could be your speedy guy. We'll see.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that would have been the guy to.
You like to have one guy with speed to come off the bench, right?
Yeah, okay.
And for those who have not heard, the reason why Sterling wasn't with the team is I've just seen this reported in the last 10 minutes since we're recording this, is that apparently there was a home invasion at his house with his family. His children were there while he was in Qatar, and he has flown back to England to be with them. The reports are he has an opportunity to return to Qatar if the situation allows for back at home. So that's a whole frightening thing, and you can understand why that would be an off. There's like two different levels of that. You got to leave the World Cup, and your home has been invaded, and your kids have, and your family's been endangered. So
you got it, yeah, and completely obviously understand why he felt he had to spend time with them and couldn't be halfway across the world playing football with all that stuff having happened.
For sure, I think has England gave up the 2 goals against Iran, and they haven't given up a goal since then, have they?
No, though not for lack of trying early in this game. I mean, that's again, I don't want to be negative about England because that was a very good performance by them, and it was a potential banana skin that they handled very deftly overall. But if we're looking forwards and we're saying, like, I just mischievously tweeted a link to the stream with the question, "Is it coming home?" But for it to come home, if we're going to be super critical and think, well, what's going to doom this team eventually, like, they can't defend like they did in the opening part of this game against France, like that they'll get cooked.
You can say the same about France and their back line too.
This is true. This is true.
And I would say part of defending is getting key clutch saves from your keeper.
Yeah,
and that happened today. And, fine lines. There's fine margins in World Cups. You get away with it in group play. It's forgiving in group play. Kickoff, knockout rounds or something else. So
my point would rather be if Senegal had Kylian Mbappe up front instead of one of Boulaye Dia and Sarr, then with the opportunities they had early on, this game would not have been 0-0 after that, So that is a concern with them for that game.
I saw a stat that England have now scored 6 or 7 goals on an expected goal total of the tournament so far of just over.
Well, they've scored more goals.
I'm sorry, 12.
Yeah.
On an Sorry, I'm doing this in reverse.
Okay.
They've scored 12 goals on an expected goal total of about 6.5. So they're way above. They're outperforming.
Or they're efficient.
A bit of a hot streak in terms of finishing. That can happen.
And I'm told by the XG nerds that that's an indicator that they're due to regress to the mean. Yes, that's what I'm
They have
told.
scored more goals than any team so far in World Cup.
Would it surprise you that today their XG was 1.01?
Yeah, it would surprise me, actually. It seemed like they had more opportunity than that.
But this is why, as someone who is a firm believer in XG, I would sometimes question its usefulness in a World Cup because it's such a compressed tournament.
Right.
XG is a number for instance, in the Premier League, I hardly ever look at it until you're at least 10 games into the season.
Sample size is too small in World Cup.
Sample size is a really big deal with XG and sort of single game XG. I know we've referenced it a lot on this pod, but I'm a little bit suspicious of what you can do. Because you can have one massive chance.
Yep.
I forget one, but I saw the one game there was like an 0.8 XG chance. And then the other team can have a bunch of shots from 20 yards, and it still won't be more than that one chance. But realistically, the way this anyway, let's not have an intro to XG conversation. But my point is, I don't think England have been worryingly efficient. I don't think it's like with Australia in the group stage. Yeah, you could see they scored on most of the chances they created, and you think, okay, then that's maybe not something that's going to continue. But with England, I think they're working quite well in attack. I think that attack is ticking along pretty reasonably well. Now I actually thought today it was a good day for the Harry Kane dropping deep stratagem. I think he was very effective at dropping deep and then picking up the ball and then finding runners ahead of him, like we're used to seeing with Tottenham. And I think again having 2 wide players who were playing well and also Bellingham making attacking runs and even Henderson getting forward. When you have that, then the Kane dropping off thing works really well.
Can we give a shout out to Henderson? I think he had a good game.
Yes, I know. You're a Liverpool dude.
On the ball and off the ball things. And then Maguire almost had a Maguire moment that was painful.
Maguire's been really, really good this tournament.
Did you see that?
Yes, he did.
Right.
Yes, for sure. So England end up winning that game 3-0 with a little bit of ease, and I'm certain everybody's excited to see them play against the French here in several days because that is the next game. And so we're going to take a break, and we come back. We will talk about Kylian Mbappe's big day next on the KickAround.
Lars can't help himself. There you go.
This shall be called part 2 of Matchday 14 of Qatar KickAround. Lars, I feel like I need a theme, like a sitcom theme song for this, because today France-Poland felt like it was the Kylian Mbappe show. We need like a jazzy little tune.
The Mbappe tune.
Yeah, something like that.
Huh.
Because that's what it felt like today.
Yeah, no, he was very good. And this game, I mean, the outcome, of course, is as expected. It's more or less, I'm pretty sure one of us said 3-1, actually.
We all kind of said, essentially, 2-1, 3-0.
I said 2-0.
I might have gone 4-0 just out of contempt for the Poles.
I think you said 3-1 or 3-0, and you said 4-1 or 4-0.
Yes.
So we were all...
Yeah, point being, more or less as expected. But what's worth bringing up is that Poland were less terrible than they'd been earlier. Poland.
What was my comment that I tweeted or sent in the message to you? Right, I was about 5-10 minutes into the game. What did I say?
Poland have decided to play or something.
I said, "Hey, look, Poland are trying.
Hey, look at them go." Yeah, no, they were quite aggressive. They went at France. They realized that if you just sit back against these guys, they're going to open you up somehow anyway, so you might as well try. And again, they had some chances. Hugo Lloris had to earn.
I'm getting judged by Andy. over here.
No, I'm just saying, man. I mean, Poland tried. Yes, okay, they tried.
It's possible that my expectations were so low after the Argentina game.
That was okay.
Just that any kind of effort forwards from Poland was sort of,
fair.
Poland.
They pressed. Like, have you seen Poland press at all during the tournament?
But because they just hid. They did the Roman, the testudo formation against.
If nobody can see us, we'll advance.
Yeah,
nobody will find us. We'll advance.
Which is more or less how they did advance, actually.
Right,
so
exactly.
by not provoking Argentina and scoring more goals.
Okay, so here's the thing about this game that was weird, and to be fair to the Polish players and the manager and everything, it took a 38th minute clearance off the French goal line to keep Poland off the scoreboard before France really decided, oh, wait, maybe we do need to go ahead and try ourselves and win this game, because it feels like it was that moment in the game everything changed. At least to me, is the best I remember it.
Yeah, did that lead to the goal?
Not directly, but the Giroud goal came shortly after that.
Okay.
I think it just always would have happened eventually. I think there's so much quality in this French team. I don't know how, like, if you're trying to make a case for how Poland could have beaten them, it's hard to really make one.
This is because in the Senegal game against England, I said, had Senegal scored that first goal, perhaps the complexion would have changed. Yeah. Had Poland scored the first goal in this game, I don't think anything changes.
No, that's a very good point. And that's because, again, I think the French are a little bit more confident and less rattled than potentially the English are. Though England are looking all right as well.
But it's the opponent too. It's like Senegal having the ability to play out the game versus Poland, who will then sit back and still be Poland, and France will be France.
Yes, yeah, no, absolutely. And it was, of course, again my sweet prince Olivier Giroud who scored the goal.
He's very handsome.
He is very, very, very handsome.
You'll know he's also the leading scorer all time for France now.
Yeah. Never gets the credit he deserves, Olivier Giroud. But then again, so many people say that now that maybe he is getting the credit he deserves. It's like he's no longer underrated. I think he's just rated at this point.
I want to give you credit, Lars, because before the tournament started, the big question mark with France was team chemistry. Right? I mean, we knew the talent was there, the depth was there, all that, but without
Benzema.
Right? Yeah. Once Benzema left, you said that was actually going to help chemistry a lot, and it was going to allow Giroud to do his thing also, both things, and it's played out exactly like you said it would.
You know, it's interesting about the French. They're the first defending champion to get out of the group stage since 2006. They're shooting to be the first team to repeat as World Cup champions in 60 years.
And go ahead and finish your thought, because I want to go back to that too.
And they're also now the first defending champions to win a round of 16 games since 2006 as well too.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they were the first to get out.
Well, they may not have won the game.
Yeah, Brazil won the round of 16.
That's my stat.
Yeah,
right.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's like they were the first since Brazil to do anything as defending champion, but they may be the first to defend their title since Brazil. I mean, there's a ways to go. England's a tough adversary in the semis and whatnot. But let's talk about Mbappe and the teenager that was playing for Brazil in '58 when they won. Mbappe was a teenager playing for France last time they won, and it kind of like it brought him to the world stage. And now Mbappe, 4 years later, is looking to defend that title. He's, at his age, has 9 goals. I think more goals than any other player at that age after Pele. And Pele defended the title in '62. And so I think there's a lot of similarities. And the comparisons to Pele, I mean, it's Pele, so it's hard for anybody ever to be compared to Pele, right? Like, okay, you know. But, man, if there's somebody in recent times or of our generation or the last couple of generations that you can truly compare to Pele, it's Mbappe, right? Because he won it as a teenager. He was good in that World Cup. I mean, he was an important part of France winning it in 2018. And now he's the talisman for this team, like Pele was for the Brazil teams after they won that '58 title.
Yeah, there's a bit of historical resonance there. Yeah, I like it. And he is terrifying. Like, he's so good.
Yes.
And looking at those 2 goals, and especially the first goal is a really good case in point for what I mean when I rattle on about team chemistry, by the way. And we just make this point because it's something we've said quite a few times, but it's a little bit woolly, and maybe I should have a concrete example of what I mean. And the first goal is Olivier Giroud is actually in space on the other side of the box there. Olivier Giroud has got his hand up and waves and like, bonjour, ici, I am Giroud. I mean, look, here I am. But Kylian Mbappe knows that, well, yes, that's nice, Olivier, but you're Olivier Giroud and I'm Kylian Mbappe, so I'm going to put this in the top corner. If that's Benzema over there, I think there's a part of Mbappe's brain that goes, but Benza's over there. Maybe I should try to reach him, you know?
Well,
yeah.
What you're saying, what Giroud said, you should have said. Giroud said, "I am Giroud. I am here. If you want, if you want to pass to me, I am here."
Yeah, and I think I think it almost simplifies things for Mbappe knowing that he's the man. You know, in that situation, you don't have to care that Giroud is available because you know what, the top corner is also available. Whereas I think if it's Benzema, then there's a little bit of the sort of, should I pass?
Can we just talk for a minute, and we can just first on the first goal about the simplicity and the audacity to stand just inside the top of the box when you're by yourself and just do the most simple, obvious thing, which is just shoot it as hard as you can in the upper left corner or, you know, hit it in that direction because it's wide open. And so many players don't do that, yet he just...
Or they do and send it to them.
Or they do and they send it into the upper deck and he hits it with so much power and so much accuracy.
Yeah.
It was Chesney had no chance. And then on the second goal,
that one was accuracy more than power.
Well, it's just the whole digital wizardry of making the turn and hitting it around a player and
digital wizardry.
It's insane, Lars. It's so good.
He's terrifying. He's absolutely terrifying. And I like the fact that he hits it in the near corner for the first one, and that'll be a little bit surprising. I think most goalkeepers in that situation, knowing as well that Mbappe favors his right foot and will try to open his body up and look for the far corner, right? But then he smacks it up the near one instead. But yeah, that'll have surprised Chesney, and then it's kind of funny that he leaves it in the far corner for the second one.
Because the times that we got to watch Pele, TV wasn't the same thing it is today, and the old footage of Pele I don't think translates it very well. No. But I try to think about other players that have Mbappe's speed. And there's a lot of players that are wicked fast, right? But Mbappe's speed mixed with his skill set,
speed plus flow,
he plays in skill levels that remind you of guys that are playing five-a-side in a park, and he pulls off skill checks and moves that you see in those types of environments, and he does it at this electric pace. That's just
this is why he's considered maybe the best in the world,
right? Which makes me wonder: is that something that Pele was similar at, but we just don't know it because we don't get to see it?
Pele was quickness, not speed. Now Ronaldo, in his prime,
the original Ronaldo.
Actually, great point. I wasn't thinking about him. I was thinking about RC7, Portuguese Ronaldo. He also was about speed.
Yeah.
But more quick. But yeah, Ronaldo, the original, R7.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good comparison.
That is a good comparison.
Yeah, the similarities there.
Yeah,
I think I've
Ronaldo was a little bit stronger.
I think I've said it before on the pod this tournament, so apologies if I'm repeating myself. But the thing that I think baffles me almost the most with Mbappe is how good his decision making is, because that is often my personal theory is that a lot of fast players don't actually develop the game intelligence because they spend their formative years just running away from everyone. So they very often just they can get away with using their speed in so many situations, whereas kind of slower players have to work on their reading of the game basically to make an impact. Whereas Mbappe, his ability to time runs and his ability to decide when to do what is very, very high level, much better than we're used to seeing from players with his physical skill set.
Yeah, about Mbappe too, compared to Cristiano Ronaldo, is the ability to also work with his teams and to set teammates up. And I don't remember young Ronaldo. It was more about the goals he scored.
Oh, yeah. I think
and Mbappe
it still is.
Yeah, right. I mean, but we're comparing him to young Ronaldo. To me, Mbappe is much more about either setting up teammates or scoring goals himself. He's more of a complete player that way. Am I just in the moment with Mbappe right now and just kind of like being very subjective about it? Or
yeah, a little bit. I think he's got that in him as well. He's not just a goal muncher. I agree with that.
Do you think we'll ever get to see him play somewhere else other than the French league?
I do. I think he must realize he's made a mistake in terms of fulfilling his. Because I don't think it's possible to be sort of unanimously considered the best player in the world if you play in the French league, because it's a team that no one watches, or globally not a lot of people watch or care about or rate. So there'll always be that little asterisk next to everything he does. Now, of course, if you blow away everyone at a World Cup, yeah, okay, that's probably good.
All right.
But yeah, I think he needs to move to somewhere else.
So if France goes on to win this World Cup, would I be wrong in saying that would be generally considered a surprise?
No,
I don't think
really.
So.
They were the third favorites in the betting, I think, going into the tournament behind France.
Well, they were second until the whole Pogba injury.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Did any of the three of us have them even in the semifinal?
No. I had them.
You had them crashing out at the group stage, didn't you?
No, I said if they were in a tougher group, I would have.
Ah, that's right.
But for all intents and purposes, that's what I was saying. Lars, though, was the one that said, look, chemistry is an issue, but Benzema leaving is going to fix a lot of that. And it's kind of, you don't see that. I mean, we don't know what's going on in the room, right? I mean, but we would hear about things. right?
Yes.
We would, if there are issues, and that's not a team play. They're not playing like they have issues right now.
No, this is the thing. So when we did our brackets, I think I had them going out against Argentina because I had drunk the Danish Kool-Aid and thought Denmark were going to get a result in that
you
game.
had them
I think I
upstairs.
did that to you.
Yeah, I did the same.
That's what I had. I had Denmark sneaking a win in that group, which sent them into Argentina in the second
Yeah.
round, and I thought Argentina were going to be better, so I had them going out there. But I did course correct after seeing them play against Denmark in particular and against Australia, and thought, oh dear, this actually works.
Okay, so hold on. So I'm going to go back to my original question. Before the tournament started, if I had told you France had won this tournament, I think generally the reaction would be surprise.
Yeah, if they win. Yeah,
if they had won it. And now what my point to all of this is it almost feels, and that's all based on tournament histrionics. Like the defending champion struggles to get out of the group, much less win the
France histrionics too,
Yes,
not just tournament.
very
France
specifically.
histrionics.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's okay. Fair
Issues
enough.
with the coach,
Right.
chemistry, all that.
So if in fact
and
now that you know what you know, if in fact they do to go on and win this tournament, what does that mean in terms of their legacy as on the hierarchy of the tier one soccer nations? Are they the greatest?
No.
Well, in modern times, I mean, how many?
Well,
they'll have won it 3 times since Brazil won it once.
but instead, Brazil is still considered the greatest. I mean, they have 5.
Andy looks so offended.
No,
I know.
You asked,
you see that?
I enjoyed that.
You're asking, like Germany would have a say with that too. The greatest of all time, no, but of our generation, yeah, you'd have to say that.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I mean, repeating as champions, it's only been done twice. Once in the 30s and once in the late 50s and early 60s. So in our generation, and remember, they also won in 98 and they got to the final in 06. So this stretch of 25 to 30 years,
Yeah. Okay.
right? But all time? No, sorry.
Are you? I think it's probably smart on our part to wait and hold off until we do an official preview of England France, but that one feels really
Well,
good.
the thing about France, we talk a lot about Mbappe, but we have Lars's boy as well, right?
Giroud, right? Yeah.
I mean that the whole attack, their goal scoring mechanism is kind of clicking really well right now. Like England, their issues are more defensive.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
And that's what I would maybe lean into, and without previewing an England game specifically, if just hypothetically, when France now are coming up against the very strong teams, like their left flank is quite vulnerable because Mbappe, amazing though he is not going to do a lot of defending. And he's one of the players who I don't actually judge him that much for it. I think he kind of, fair enough. You spend your energy doing your thing. That's okay. But he's not going to defend a lot. And Theo Hernandez is a great attacking fullback, but he has defensive deficiencies, which is why Deschamps has always, for a very long time, Deschamps was cautious about picking him for France, and he wouldn't be playing if his brother hadn't picked up a really nasty injury in the first game. Luca Hernandez, his more defensive-minded brother, would be playing, but Theo is there, which I think makes France a more fun team to watch because he's very, very attack-minded. But I think that flank of a wide forward who doesn't defend and a fullback who isn't very good at defending against the best of the best, that could be an issue. And I guess it's Rabiot on that side of midfield who has to do a lot of work to help out, and maybe Griezmann will slide over and help out, but that's an area I think they can be got at.
We'll save all your good stuff for when we do the official preview, Lars, because what day is that game?
Saturday, is it?
Hold on, I'm looking. It is Saturday, the 1 p.m. game, at least Dallas time, December the 10th. Okay, we will take our next break. When we come back, we'll do some administrative notes that I need to take care of, and we'll also preview Monday's big round of 16 games.
Said that before, but it doesn't fit the narrative.
All right, so we're just going to cut it short and run to the chase. This shall be part 3 of Qatar Kick-Around on Matchday 14. Some administrative notes that I'd like to make everybody aware of. If now that the United States are out of the tournament and you are struggling to figure out what team to follow, we have updated the Supreme Wheel of Allegiance, and we've placed the version of the wheel on the front page of the website, thekickaround.com, although now I think I need to remove did I update it after the games?
Are you going to remove teams as they get eliminated?
Yeah. So I eliminated. Yeah, I think I'm up to date now. Maybe Poland may still be on there. I don't remember when I did it, but anyway, you can go to thekickaround.com. You can spin the wheel. Just spin it once. Be an honest engine and spin it once, and take whatever team it gives you, and you can follow that team through the rest of the tournament.
The exception being, if you spin it and get Poland, you get to go again.
Well, yes.
Well, they're
course.
out now, anyways.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes. Yeah. And then I'll decide. Should we take teams off as they fall out of the tournament?
It'd be funny.
Okay.
Maybe I should do this now. Maybe I should do it.
Yeah, go ahead and spin it real quick, Lars. If you're looking at it, let's see what it gives you.
Let me just.
Round and round it goes.
It's still loading.
Oh no!
Where is it?
Did you break it?
Oh, there it is. Spin it.
Switzerland. He's gonna get Switzerland.
I'm gonna click it.
Let's see.
I have it. I just needed to load the website. Okay.
He's gonna get Morocco.
You can hear me. Listen, this is me clicking.
I heard it. Yeah. What did it tell you?
Portugal.
Still going.
The wheel, the supreme wheel.
Oh no, I got Portugal.
You got Ronaldo.
Oh no.
I love it. Hey, and the other thing is, I just wanted
possibly the lowest on my list.
I wanted to also take a minute to thank Peter from Ireland for sending us an email today. A very nice email telling us how much. Why are you so defeated, Lars?
I don't want Portugal.
Well, you have to take what the wheel gives you.
The wheel has spoken.
The wheel has spoken, Lars.
I'd rather have Poland.
I want
even with them eliminated. Sorry, Peter.
I don't talk enough about this, and we don't really encourage it. But we always love to hear from people about if they, what they enjoy or whatever about the show. So thank you to Peter from writing all the way from Ireland, which is super cool. But the one thing I did want to note, because I keep saying it's everybody's favorite feature on Qatar Kick-Around, and Andy rolls his eyes. He says, anyway, keep up the great work. I'm rather proud that I've managed to get 3 trivia questions right so far without recourse to Google or Wikipedia.
Nice. Well done, Peter. Well done.
Thank you.
Nice one, Peter.
And so that's a perfect seg now into Professor Andy's World Cup Trivia, brought to you by Soccer 90. You're welcome, Soccer 90. Here is Andy's question and answer.
So to commemorate the fact that Asia has advanced the most teams to the round of 16 of any World Cup, in this one, 3, and Japan and South Korea both play tomorrow. This is a 3-parter. You get partial credit for answering any one of these right. The first Asian team to reach the quarterfinals, and what World Cup that was. The last Asian team to reach the quarterfinals, the most recent one, in other words, and what World Cup that was. And the farthest Asian team to reach the semis. Actually, they got to the semis. How far did they? Yeah.
Lars, you made me go first yesterday. I'm going to make you go first today.
So the answer to one, if not several of those, is South Korea, right?
Yeah, but you got to tell me, like, what?
It's all of them. 2002. South Korea is the answer to all of those things.
See, that's what I was thinking too.
Okay, so the last team to reach the quarterfinals from Asia was, in fact, South Korea in 2002, and they did get to the semis.
Yes.
And
yes.
But they weren't the first?
They were not the first team from Asia to reach the quarterfinals.
All right, hold on.
It has been brought up before on this show.
Hold on. Let me think about it.
Okay.
Now, is it any time in modern times, or is this something you're going to tell me happened in 1934?
What do you consider modern? Some people say 50 forward, and some people say 70 forward. Lars, I'm hearing.
70 forward would be modern.
Pre-modern.
Because I have a theory now, but I want Peter to. I had my shot, so.
And it would be an Asian country that made it to the what quarterfinal?
Yeah, so a hint is that Lars, as a big Portuguese fan now, since his team is Portugal in this World Cup, should know this one.
Because it's one of their conquered colonies or something like that.
Lars, Peter doesn't know.
Well, you're saying Macau got to the quarterfinals?
Yeah, right. Peter doesn't know. Lars?
I don't know.
Was it North Korea in 66?
North Korea in 66.
Yes.
The one where Eusebio showed the world why he's the greatest Portuguese player of all time.
The tournament where the North Koreans beat the Italians.
Can't believe I got
Yes,
Portugal.
correct. To get to the quarters, and they lost 5-3 to Portugal. Eusebio 4 goals in the second half. By the way, yes, I am aware that Pele partially played the 62 tournament in Chile. That's a very important World Cup for me for obvious reasons. Brazil still won it, but Pele at that time, by 62, was considered the best player in the world. He was their talisman. Brazil won it despite not having him. And what do I always say? It's hard for a World Cup to win it without their talisman. The last time it happened was 62 with Brazil and Pele. But the idea is that Pele by then had won it as a teenager and was then considered the greatest in the world, was a big part of that Brazil team. Garrincha as well. Garrincha was undefeated in World Cups.
Garrincha, yeah.
Undefeated in World Cups with the Brazilian jersey. Garrincha was. Never lost a game in World Cups with the Brazilian jersey. But Pele was kind of the talisman. And that was my point, and that was the Mbappe comparison. So.
Do you know that Garrincha has a son who's Swedish?
Really?
Yeah. He had a jolly good time with one of the locals in Sweden. And,
Garrincha had a jolly good time in lots of places.
Yes.
That sounds salacious. I also, while we were recording this, I got a text from a friend that asked me this question, and I know I could look it up, but I'm just going to ask you guys. Is it true that all the Saudi Arabian players got free Range Rovers for beating the Argentines earlier in the tournament? Is that rumor true?
I did see a tweet to that effect, but I haven't confirmed it in any sort of to any standard of anything.
I mean, that sounds 1,000% plausible.
I saw something on Twitter that said Bentleys, so who knows? But they must have gotten something.
They must have gotten something.
Yeah.
What do you think the North Koreans got for beating Italy and making it to the quarterfinals? It's a fair question. Probably not Range Rovers. That's all I'm saying.
That's probably the answer.
Probably
not Range Rovers.
not
Pants.
Range
Maybe they got
Rovers.
some pants. I don't know. Okay.
I have a friend who went to North Korea. He said their beer is surprisingly good. So
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, here's the other administrative note. Could somebody explain to me why today, between the two games, we each got two of the most unusually, almost romantic photos from these games? First, we got the Giroud-Mbappe embrace that was so wonderfully converted to a scene out of The Notebook. I think.
Mbappe looking at him like his darling.
Yes, like he's full. Well, he is a handsome man. No,
Yeah.
Lars is, Lars might be right about that. And then
Yeah.
we got the even, I think, almost more bizarre,
That was.
like face-to-face, almost near man kiss between Jordan Henderson and Jude Bellingham. It was
Yeah.
really affectionate.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to see it.
Hold up in those hotel rooms for a fortnight. I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, that Mbappe and Giroud thing, there is an interesting subtext to that, which is that earlier this autumn, as you may know, Mbappe denies that he was behind this, but certainly it was reported very reliably by and seemingly from the Mbappe camp, and that his side was briefing it anyway, that he was deeply unhappy at Paris Saint-Germain in spite of just having signed a new contract. And one of the specific things he's apparently very unhappy about is that he wants to play with a big striker like he does for the national team. As why one of the reasons he wants Neymar out the door of Paris is that he wants a big forward so that he doesn't have to be the one that's furthest forward. He wants a tall person to be there so that he can drift around and do what he does
Get
for
the
France.
sloppy seconds and put those in.
He really wants Giroud, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He wants Giroud at Paris Saint-Germain.
I think he does want Giroud, for sure.
Yeah. No.
So tomorrow...
Who doesn't?
Yes.
Fair enough,
right.
Lars. You've made it very clear. I know what to get you for Christmas. All right, so tomorrow, Japan and Croatia is the first round of 16 game. Andy, this is your family land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, will you quit sandbagging?
I'm not sandbagging. Look, I'll let Lars speak, and then you tell me if I'm sandbagging. Lars, this game very much up for grabs. Am I right?
I think so. I think it's an interesting matchup
Thank you.
between the potentially tiring legs of Croatia and the high energy endeavor of Japan. I think it's really interesting. I would have, I was a little bit frightened by how empty Croatia looked in the second half against Belgium. They've had a few days to get it together again, but I think against the very motivated Japanese team that has a lot of players who play at a high intensity, put it that way, who press, who run, who fight, I think that could be interesting.
So Modric, who's their man, has played every minute except for like 4, right? He got taken off
He's an
early in
alien
one of the-
wizard.
He is. By the way, which shows how old he is. He's the only player to ever have played in a World Cup and in the Euros in 3 different decades. And he's played in 4 Euros and 4 World Cups.
And he's on maximum minutes.
He's magic, but it might, again, keep watching because it might be the last time you get to see him play in a World Cup. This is a tough game for Croatia.
Garincha in '62,
I fully believe that this game will come down to whether or not the self-confidence switch is on or off for the Japanese, because that's been the difference for all their other games, is when they decide to turn it from the off position to the on position.
But like within a game, inside a game.
Yes, right. And if it starts off, they're going to have to go, run to the wall and turn it on.
So what's your prediction then, Mr. This is what I predict.
I think this one goes to penalty kicks.
PKs.
Yeah, PKs.
And then it's a toss-up, but you gotta. I had to give a. I said Netherlands, U.S. PKs.
If it goes to PKs, I think Croatia wins it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn,
Lars?
That's a really good prediction.
I'm gonna go.
Thank you. I'm a professional at
So
this.
while Lars thinks, I think it's gonna be 3-2, and added extra time. And my heart says Croatia, but my head says Japan, and I'll just go with my heart.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just notice that what has happened with us 3 quite often is that we end up becoming an echo chamber for each other a little bit, and we sort of think ourselves into underdogs because we want the underdogs to be good and exciting, and sometimes we forget that the good players are at the end of the day good players. So I think a thoroughly uncomplicated 2-0 win for Croatia.
Oh man, Lars.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
Godspeed to you if you're right. Let's do this.
The afternoon. Now, did I see a report that Neymar may actually play tomorrow?
Yes,
Yeah, that was
that's
weird.
Crazy. That's
because I swear that story now has changed 15 different ways to Sunday. I've read that he was out for the tournament. I've heard that he was out for the group stage.
That he might have a ligament damage.
Right. I mean, it feels like the Jesus injury
Fluid in the bone.
Because I swear I saw online that Jesus. It was out for 3 months, and now Arsenal's all mad. And then I saw that he may be out just for the tournament. And
right.
So anyway, now Neymar,
the Brazil physio department are just leaking weird stuff for fun.
Yeah. So Neymar, I guess, is going to play tomorrow. Has anybody heard any kind of confirmation one way or the other?
I think it would be a bad idea for him to play if he's not 100%, because with all due respect to South Korea, I think they can win this one without him, so they can buy him some more time to get right.
Or they keep him on the bench just in case.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So no hot sports opinions about Brazil.
No, look, Brazil on paper, we think they should go far in the tournament, and it's Brazil, and they're the number 1 ranked team in the world, and this is the stage of the tournament where the cream starts to rise to the top. Rounds of 16s can still have surprises. So is this one of the surprises that happens in the round of 16? I don't know. I would predict a 2-1 Brazil win. I don't think it's going to be as easy as a cakewalk by any stretch, but I think Japan is a stronger team out of Japan and South Korea. I think Japan is a slightly better team. Lars, I don't know if you agree with that or not, but
yes, I do agree with that. They're a better team, but they don't have Son, so
yeah, true.
And
then think, that's the difference maker that we talk about in World Cup. Sometimes that's what it takes, right?
Yeah. But I'm not against Brazil. It's because they're so solid defensively. I think out of all the favorites, they're the ones who are.
It's weird because it's usually the other way around with Brazil.
Yeah.
Right?
See, I just have a feeling we're at that point of this tournament where the big cars start revving and warming up their engines.
They do.
And Brazil's going to win this game like the French did today. It's going to be like 4-1, 4-0, something like that. It will be done with relative ease, I do believe. Maybe something scary happens in early and I look stupid.
Right.
And then suddenly Brazil do
we
Brazilian
look up, it's
things.
the 85th and it's 4-1.
The magic power of Pele rains down on everybody and it all works out just fine.
I think so too. Let's go 3-0.
Okay.
All right. Man, we're not good at clashing over these kind of things, are we? We're all in the same camp.
Just to be contrarian, picked something completely different in the other game, even though I'm not completely convinced of it myself, just because someone had to break the pattern.
Well, we all picked Croatia.
Yeah, but picked Croatia easy.
You thought it was going to be tight. I said
PKs, and Andy said at added time.
Yeah, I said 2-0.
And he said a comfortable.
Just an easy. Yeah, easy. Modric.
I don't actually
doublers.
believe that. I think it's completely 50. Not completely 50-50, but
See, he thinks like us too.
it's the most difficult to predict out of the round of 16
Modric
games.
scores twice from 35 yards with the outside of his right foot.
I would like it.
God, that would be beautiful. That would be beautiful, Peter.
Hey, guys, look, it's well under an hour.
Yeah.
We did it. I'm flexing.
And that's in spite of some pretty strange detours we took on the way, but that's good. Let's have a short episode.
Detours are good sometimes.
It is fun. It is Sunday after all.
By the way, 14 goals so far in the round of 16. That's 3.5 goals a game.
That's good.
Which is a lot higher, about 1 goal a game higher than we've had up to now. So that's good. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right, Lars, once again, thank you, sir. Hope you get some dinner or sleep or whatever's up next for you. Are you going to stay up and watch the Cowboy game on British television?
Absolutely not. But I might. Sorry, was that too emphatic? I don't mind a bit of NFL, but no, I'm not going to do that. I might have an early night, catch up on some sleep.
Okay.
Nice.
And Andy, sorry that your college football team is no longer undefeated and are losers.
That's okay. They're in the college playoffs, ranked 3, and about to play in the semifinals, so we're good.
Who are the Cowboys playing?
They're playing the Colts tonight.
Okay.
It's
Yes.
Peyton Manning.
Doesn't mean much
No.
to me.
Oh, no, not anymore?
No,
Okay.
no. They've got like a scrub. They got like some former player now running the team, and they're not very good. So that probably means the Cowboys will fold and lose. All right. Thank you to you both. Thank you to Peter from Ireland for emailing us. Thank you for those of you who are watching the live stream, downloading the podcast. It's been fun. We will speak to you tomorrow for Match Day 15. Get stuck in and win your 50s.